Okay, Sydney Sweeney is being honored at the Variety Power of Women Summit. And if you're a crisis actor, you already know that on any day of the year, at any place, there is probably a women's summit occurring. And this is one of them.
Somewhere, sometime, there's always something going on.
Yeah, they come up with a list of women every year
It's
who are honored.
Somewhere.
Yeah, it's woman o'clock somewhere. Every year they come up with a list of women to honor at the Power of Women Summit. And Sydney Sweeney is the first and probably the most famous person on this list this year.
At least most recent. I mean, that's recency bias.
I suppose so.
Jamie Lee Curtis would be
But I
probably
think
considered the most famous, though.
She is the least expected nominee. Not that this is for an award, because they're all basically being awarded. The list is Sydney Sweeney, Jamie Lee Curtis, Nicole Scherzinger. That was also a surprise. She's
so
the
left field.
Lead of the Pussycat Dolls, Wanda Sykes, and Kate Hudson. And they list all of their accomplishments in this announcement piece. Sydney Sweeney is mentioned for being an Emmy-nominated actress and producer who stars in the upcoming Christie biopic and the upcoming Lionsgate thriller The Housemaid. And they say that The Housemaid is somehow financially supporting the National Center on Domestic and Sexual Violence, which I would assume is why they included her in this list. A lot of people didn't know this because it was lost in the controversy around the American Eagle ad, but the portion of the proceeds from the jeans, the Sydney Sweeney jeans, was also donated to some domestic violence nonprofit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why exactly that was related to the campaign, but
I mean, it's part of the business model for these
Yeah.
companies now is to do as much in the public interest as possible because it bolsters their reputation for shareholders.
right. I think that there was some pushback to Sydney Sweeney being named on this list that I saw. Here were some of the responses. The first few names are not of women who wield power in any respectable manner. Another one said, respectfully, what did Sydney Sweeney do that was honorable? She's been cozying up to Jeff Bezos. Some people are speculating that Sydney Sweeney's management possibly payola'd her into the list, likely as part of a campaign for an Oscar. A lot of people are saying the Christie biopic is her in for an Oscar in 2025.
She does seem to be uniquely fascinated with the idea of becoming an artist on top of being a businesswoman. You know, if she just wanted to be a businesswoman, she'd just be looking to do big blockbuster movies. But I feel like she takes the art house roles because she feels like it will give her legitimacy as a producer.
Another reply says, power of women, and it's a Zionist, a MAGA, and a woman whose claim to fame is appeasing the male gaze. They're saying that Jamie Lee Curtis is the Zionist, that Sydney Sweeney is the one appealing to the male gaze, and Nicole Scherzinger of the Pussycat Dolls is the MAGA of the group because she has been outspoken about her support for Trump. And last year, Amy Schumer was on the list as well, who they hate. And they basically are saying this is like a Zionist MAGA convention.
Yeah.
So it's not really up to snuff for the woke people on Twitter, the Stan accounts.
I saw this earlier. I completely forgot about it, but thought I'd throw this in there. Indian movie producers reportedly offer Sydney Sweeney historic paycheck to star in a Bollywood movie.
Oh.
$61 million?
Oh, is she going to open Bob?
Again, I have no idea if this is true. I can't fact check this. This is from Bro Bible, but I saw it on a bunch of other sites as well.
She's going to open Bob and Vagine.
Yeah. Bollywood is taking a shot at Sydney Sweeney. It's not beyond reason. However, the two-year-old has said she's willing to eschew A-list norms and work with essentially any brand that forks up the cash, from selling soaps with Dr. Squatch to jeans with American Eagle and ice cream with Baskin-Robbins. Well, heaven forbid a woman should make her bag, right? According to a report from The Sun, an Indian production company has outlined a deal for Sweeney that would see her paid, here it is, $48 million to star in the film and $13 million for additional sponsorships sponsorship agreements. The project would apparently see Sydney Sweeney star as a young American who falls in love with an Indian celebrity, with filming is penciled in to take place early next year in locations such as New York, Paris, London, and Dubai.
It says The Housemaid is a story following Millie Calloway, played by Sydney Sweeney, a young woman with a troubled past who has recently been released from prison after serving a 10-year sentence for manslaughter, having fatally beaten a man who attempted to rape her friend. I'm sorry, it's just funny to think about. Like, is that really like something
she beat a man to death?
Could any woman do that? It just doesn't sound
They
realistic.
could have made it like she shot him.
Okay, struggling to find legitimate work due to her criminal record, Millie lives in her car for a month before securing a position as a live-in housemaid for the wealthy Winchester family. Nina, played by Amanda Seyfried, and her husband Andrew, and their daughter Cecilia, on Long Island. She is assigned a small attic room that locks from the outside, a feature that immediately unsettles her. Upon arriving at the mansion, Millie is met with a confusing dynamic. Nina, Amanda Seyfried, the matriarch, displays erratic and demanding behavior, destroying the kitchen and blaming Millie for trivial mistakes. Her husband appears charming and considerate, fostering a bond with Millie that grows into a secret affair. The Winchester's gardener warns Millie about Nina, hinting at her history of mental health and past psychotic breaks. Millie discovers that the locked attic room was previously used by Nina as a punishment chamber by Andrew, who psychologically abused her, forcing her to undergo cruel punishments if she did not conform to his demands. Nina, desperate to escape her abusive marriage, deliberately hires Millie because of her violent past, hoping that she will kill Andrew. She then manipulates the situation, framing Millie, Sydney Sweeney, as a victim, to gain Andrew's sympathy and creating opportunities for Millie and Andrew to be alone together. After Andrew throws Nina out of the house, Millie prepares to settle in, only to discover that Andrew has locked her in her room. And then in the confrontation, Andrew forces Millie to perform a punishment, but she incapacitates him with pepper spray that Nina left in the room, locks him inside, forces him to undergo the same punishment, and rips out 2 of his teeth before leaving him to die of thirst.
Damn.
Nina returns to the house to find her husband dead and tells Millie to flee and stays behind as police arrive. So I guess she takes the fall for Sydney Sweeney in the end. Anyway, the dynamic between the actresses is being picked apart right now because of Sydney Sweeney's apparent support for Trump. Or at least implicit support for Trump.
Well, yeah, for
as a
being
Floridian Republican.
Yeah.
And Amanda Seyfried is an outspoken leftist who, when she was confronted with the news of Charlie Kirk's death, just commented, "He was hateful." And Amanda Seyfried, understandably, received a lot of backlash for saying that by justifying the killing. And she then backpedaled and offered this statement in response, saying, "I can get angry about misogyny and racist rhetoric, and also very much agree that Charlie Kirk's murder was absolutely disturbing and deplorable in every way imaginable. No one should have to experience this level of violence. This country is grieving too many senseless and violent deaths and shootings. Can we agree on that at least? I don't want to add fuel to the fire. I just want to be able to give clarity to something so irresponsibly but understandably taken out of context. Spirited discourse, isn't that what we should be having?" And that really pissed me off when I saw her backtrack on her original statement because of the backlash. Because, you know, you can reply to the news however you'd like, but now you've lost the sympathy of everyone on every political side.
Yeah.
The people who were calling for some semblance of human compassion, who were saying you're obviously excusing and downplaying his murder, never had any respect for you in the first place.
It's like
and then you've also lost the respect of the leftists who were cheering you on for your initial statement. So you're losing either way. When you could have just shut your mouth, which is the ideal, we would love for you to not speak on it at all.
It's the new Ryan Long skit about actor asks if he has enough qualifiers in his Charlie Kirk post.
Yeah, it's just like, well, he was an abhorrent human being in every way imaginable and a total monster. But that doesn't make the murder okay.
Yeah.
I just am fatigued with the qualifiers and the couching of statements like that.
I recommend...
No one asked you to make a statement on it, you know?
Well, I mean, there's this kind of belief in the culture now that people... I mean, social media does this to people, right? Because you have your own platform, you tend to feel like... We all probably feel like people actually care about our opinions. I tend to think that people, like, with most things, I'm like, I don't have an eloquent enough take on most things to share anyways, because people get their fill of takes from everyone every day. But most people, the idea is like, look... People need to hear my opinion. People want to know what I have to say about this, which is a little bit delusional for us all to believe that about ourselves. But there's plenty of times, like you said, where it might be better to just keep it to yourself.
Like Sydney Sweeney did.
Or
at least for now, Sydney Sweeney has not made any sort of statement on the assassination, which is probably a smart move. And this is why it relates back to the experience of normal people, because normal people at the moment are realizing that they work with people on a daily basis, or perhaps are related to people in their own family who have opinions like the one Amanda Seyfried expressed, that he was hateful, and I'm not saying explicitly, but I'm implying that he deserved what happened to him. They're working with people like this and having polite interactions with them on a daily basis. All the while we have nothing in common with these people. And people are realizing it's not just a fringe element that is expressing these sentiments. And Sydney Sweeney is in the position of a lot of reasonable people on the ostensible political right now who have to interface with people with such monstrous ideas, who have lost all sense of humanity, all sense of... that we're not even on the same page about something as basic as that.
Yeah.
So...
yeah.
She has to thread that needle the same way that we do.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.